Your smartphone has traveled through 4 different types of industry before reaching your pocket. Want to know what they are? Let's dive in. This is going to blow your mind. Okay, here's the deal. There are 4 main types of industry that create every single product and service you use. Primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. And each one plays a vital role in how countries develop and grow their economies. And in this video, we're going to discover what each industry does, see how countries move through these phases over time, explore real-world examples from around the world, and even test your knowledge with some quiz questions. This is going to be fun. Let's go! So first things first. What actually is industry? Here's the simple definition. Industry is any economic activity that creates jobs and generates income. Whether you're a farmer growing wheat, a factory worker making cars, a doctor treating patients, or a software developer creating apps, you're all part of different types of industry. Check this out. Every single product you own, your phone, your clothes, your food, has gone through a chain of industries to get to you. Think about it. Someone had to extract the raw materials. Someone else had to manufacture the product. Another person had to transport and sell it. And someone probably designed the technology that makes it work. That's the industrial chain. And it's split into 4 main sectors: primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. Let me show you exactly how they work. Let's start at the beginning. Primary industry. Primary industry is all about getting raw materials directly from the earth or sea. This includes farming, fishing, forestry, and mining. Here's the cool part. Primary industries are literally the foundation of everything. Without them, we couldn't make anything, because we'd have no raw materials to work with. Think about breakfast this morning. If you had cereal, that wheat came from a farmer. That's primary industry. If you had fish for dinner, that came from fishing boats. Also primary industry. Even the metal in your phone started as or extracted from a mine. Now here's something interesting. Primary industry used to require tons of human labor. Farmers needed hundreds of workers to harvest crops by hand. Miners used pickaxes instead of machines. Fishing was done with simple nets and boats. These days it's way more mechanized. Tractors, combine harvesters, industrial fishing vessels, and massive mining equipment do most of the heavy lifting. But here's what's wild. Even though primary industries are more efficient than ever, they employ fewer people in developed countries like the UK. In fact, only about 1 to 2% of the UK workforce is in primary industries today. Get ready for this. In 1800, during the pre-industrial phase, around 70% of workers in the UK were farmers. That's a massive change. Okay, we've covered primary industry, the extraction stage. But what happens next to all those raw materials? You're going to love this next part. Let's keep going. This is where it gets interesting. Secondary industry. Secondary industry takes those raw materials from primary industry and turns them into manufactured products. Watch what happens. Cotton from a farm becomes cloth in a textile factory. Iron ore from a mine becomes steel, then gets shaped into car parts. Trees from forests become paper, furniture, or building materials. Here are some awesome examples. Food processing. Raw wheat becomes bread, pasta, and cereal. Raw cocoa beans become chocolate bars. Raw tomatoes become ketchup. Car manufacturing. Germany is one of the world's biggest car manufacturers. They take raw materials like steel, rubber, and plastic, and turn them into vehicles we drive. Electronics. China has a massive electronics manufacturing sector. They produce smartphones, computers, and TVs by assembling components from raw materials. Textiles. The northwest of England used to have a thriving textile industry. Factories would take raw cotton and turn it into cloth for clothing. Now check this out. Historically, primary and secondary industries were located close together. Why? To minimize transportation costs. If you're mining coal, you want the steel factory nearby so you don't have to ship it thousands of miles. But today, it's completely different. This is wild. Airplane manufacturing is a perfect example. The wings might be made in Spain, the engines in the UK, the electronics in Japan, and then everything gets shipped to one location for final assembly. Raw materials and components cross oceans regularly. Because modern transportation makes global supply chains possible. Here's something important. In the UK, secondary industries, manufacturing, used to be massive employers. But in the late 1900s, many factories closed down. This process is called deindustrialization, when a country moves away from manufacturing. Okay, quick quiz. Which type of industry turns raw materials into manufactured products? The answer is B. Secondary industry. That's the manufacturing stage where raw materials become finished products. Now we're moving into the service industries. Let's talk about tertiary industry. Tertiary industry is all about providing services to people. This includes shops, restaurants, hospitals, schools, transportation, banking, legal services, and so much more. Here's the deal. Tertiary industries don't make physical products. Instead, they sell goods that were already manufactured, or they provide services and skills. Think about your day. You buy lunch at a shop. Tertiary industry. Your teacher educates you. Tertiary industry. You take a bus to school. Tertiary industry. You visit a doctor. Also tertiary. This is mind-blowing. In the UK today, over 75% of workers are employed in tertiary and quaternary sectors. That's 3/4 of the workforce. Why is tertiary industry so dominant now? Because as countries develop, people need more services. Healthcare, education, banking, entertainment, retail. All of these grow as societies become wealthier. Get ready for this. Countries in the post-industrial phase, like the UK, USA, and Japan, have shifted away from manufacturing and their primary focus is now on services. Here's where it gets interesting. When UK manufacturing declined in the 1980s, it caused huge social problems. Miners, factory workers, and textile workers lost their jobs. Entire communities that relied on these industries faced unemployment. There were protests, strikes, demonstrations. Because moving from one industrial phase to another isn't smooth, it creates real hardship for workers who lose their livelihoods. But for many newly emerging economies like Nigeria or India, they're now entering the industrial phase. They're building tertiary industries and using that money to improve schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. Okay, next. This is the newest sector, quaternary industry. Quaternary industry focuses on knowledge-based and high-tech industries. Think information technology, research and development, consultancy, education, and computing. Here's the cool part. Quaternary industries support and develop the other sectors. They create the technology, research, and information that makes everything else work better. Watch what happens. Tech companies develop software that helps manufacturers track inventory. Research scientists discover new medicines for healthcare. Data analysts help businesses understand their customers. Engineers design better machines for farming. Check this out. Every digital product you use was developed in the quaternary sector. That game you're downloading. Quaternary. Your favorite social media app. Quaternary. The GPS that guides your parents while driving. Also quaternary. This sector really exploded in the second half of the 20th century. Why? Because of the digital revolution. Suddenly, computers became widespread. The internet connected the world. And information became just as valuable as physical products. Here's something important. Quaternary industries tend to cluster around big cities. Why? Because they need highly educated workers, universities for research, and good infrastructure like high-speed internet. Think about Silicon Valley in California, or tech hubs in London, Bangalore, and Tokyo. These places are packed with quaternary industries. Okay, second quiz. Which type of industry includes computing, research and development, and consultancy? The answer is D. Quaternary industry. That's the knowledge and high-tech sector. Now let me show you something really interesting. The Clark-Fisher model. This model explains how countries move through different phases of industrial development over time. Phase 1, pre-industrial phase. In this phase, most people work in primary industries. Around 70% of the workforce are farmers. Very few people work in manufacturing or services. Think medieval times. Most people grew food, fished, or worked the land. Phase 2, industrial phase. This is where things get exciting. During the Industrial Revolution, countries like the UK started building factories. Secondary industry explodes. Manufacturing becomes the biggest employer. Cities like Manchester and Birmingham grow rapidly. Primary industry starts to decline as people move to cities for factory jobs. Tertiary services also grow, because factory workers need shops, schools, and hospitals. Phase 3, post-industrial phase. Here's where we are now in developed countries. Manufacturing starts to decline. Tertiary and quaternary industries become dominant. Why? Because companies moved their factories to countries with cheaper labor. The UK shifted to services and high-tech industries instead. Watch what happens. Today in the UK, only 1 to 2% work in primary industries, about 20% work in secondary industries, and around 78 to 79% work in tertiary and quaternary industries. That's a complete flip from 200 years ago. Here's the wild part. Different countries are at different stages right now. The UK and USA. Post-industrial. China and India. Industrial phase. Some countries in Africa. Still pre-industrial. And countries at earlier stages often supply raw materials to more developed countries, which creates a global economic system where everyone depends on each other. Let's talk about the impacts. Because industry doesn't just affect jobs, it affects everything. Economic impacts. Here's the deal. When companies move manufacturing from high-income countries to low-income countries or newly emerging economies, it's called offshoring. Why do they do it? To increase profits by paying lower wages. A company might pay £15 per hour in the UK, but only £2 per hour in another country. This creates jobs in the newly emerging economies. But it destroys jobs in the high-income countries. That's why UK manufacturing declined so dramatically. Social impacts. Check this out. When factories close, entire communities suffer. In the 1980s, UK coal mines shut down. Thousands of miners lost their jobs. Towns that depended on mining faced poverty and unemployment. People protested, demonstrated, but many industries never came back. But here's the flip side. For newly emerging economies like Nigeria, industrial growth means money for schools, hospitals, roads, and infrastructure. It lifts people out of poverty and creates opportunities. Environmental impacts. This is a big problem. Industry can be massively polluting. Leather manufacturing in India pollutes the river Ganges. Factories dump toxic waste directly into rivers, turning them black and killing wildlife. Textile factories in Bangladesh release chemicals into waterways. Coal-fired power plants produce air pollution and greenhouse gases. You're going to love this. There's a growing movement for a green industrial revolution. Countries are trying to shift away from polluting industries like fossil fuel power plants and move toward green technology like wind turbines, solar panels, and electric vehicles. In 2020, the UK government announced a 10-point plan to create green jobs and move toward a zero-carbon economy. Political impacts. Here's something important. Low-income countries often rely on exporting raw materials to rich countries. For example, Brazil exports raw cocoa beans. But the chocolate is made and sold in Europe. Who makes more money? Europe does. This creates inequality. Rich countries profit more from manufactured goods than poor countries do from raw materials. It reinforces global power imbalances, where already powerful nations stay powerful and poorer nations struggle to develop. Okay, final quiz of the video. Let me know in the comments how many you got correct. What is the process called when a country moves away from manufacturing and into services? The answer is B. Deindustrialization. That's when countries shift from secondary to tertiary industries. Alright, let's bring this all together. We've discovered that there are 4 types of industry. Primary extracts raw materials from the earth and sea, farming, fishing, mining. Secondary manufactures products from those raw materials, factories, processing plants, car manufacturing. Tertiary provides services to people, shops, hospitals, schools, transport. Quaternary focuses on knowledge and technology, computing, research, consultancy. We've seen how countries move through the Clark-Fisher model from pre-industrial to industrial to post-industrial phases. And we've explored how industry creates economic growth, social change, environmental challenges, and political power dynamics. Every product you use, every service you access, is part of this industrial chain. Understanding these 4 types of industry helps you understand how the global economy works, how countries develop, and how your life connects to the world around you. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button. Subscribe for more awesome geography content. Drop a comment telling me which type of industry you found most interesting. And check out my other videos on my channel. There's loads more to explore. Thanks for watching. This is iKnew It All, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep learning, keep growing.